It's the country's #1 RVing radio show, sponsored by RVTravel.com, with your host, Alan Warren, the RV Wingman.
All right, so one of the promises I make to you is to bring you a realistic vision of what RVing is really like. Not a one-sided RVing is so wonderful, and essentially ignore anything that isn't very, very pleasant. That said, when you're an RVer, a happy RVer, you need the ability to adapt, and sometimes adapt pretty quickly. If you're somebody who does not like surprises, if you're somebody who needs most things laid out in a really nice, orderly process, RVing will be a real test for you. A perfect example of the need to be flexible and willing to adapt was when our friends, the RV Odd Couple, were out in California in Yosemite. You may remember that some threatened species of bird decided to nest on their RV. So what did John and Mercedes do? Well, they made lemonade out of lemons. Recently, once again, that thing called life presented them a real problem. On our guest line to tell us about is John and Mercedes, the RV Odd Couple. So what happened this time? Y'all had an accident?
Yes, we did, Alan. Thank you so much for having us on the show. And let me begin by saying, nobody was hurt, thankfully, but it was one of those things that it was the travel day that was horrible. The roads were so bad, and we finally got there, and it was a super close, tight campground, difficult to navigate. And we've been to worse campgrounds, that were really difficult to navigate, but this one was just, do you want to?
It was just tight, Alan, and the truth is I was the one that made the mistake. And I was trying to find a spot to park our RV in. I looked in my rearview mirror. It looked like I had clearance, and I didn't. So I scraped up against the nose of another gentleman's RV who was a really nice guy. And I immediately stopped when I knew I had done that, walked back, talked to him. And then we started around I told this guy that I was going to find a place to park, and I'll give him all the information. And as we drove around the park in the rain, all of a sudden this lady comes running out of nowhere in front of the RV, shaking her hands.
Arms flailing.
Arms flailing in the rain, and she said she accused us of a hit and run. And she said we had left the scene, and I said, no, ma'am, we have already talked to your husband. We're going to find a spot, and then we're going to come back and talk. And so it all worked out fine. We still haven't heard from them, but I wasn't paying attention good enough so that I should have. Whenever you're in question and you're RVing with a rig as big as ours, just stop, get out of the truck, walk back, make sure you have clearance, and then do it.
Own it. That's what I love about y'all. You're so transparent. You share things that most people would be, I think, a little bit hesitant to share. But when you mess up, hey, own it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? Most people appreciate, I think, honesty. So, all right, for our listeners and viewers, John and Mercedes have one of the most successful, fastest-growing YouTube channels that I know of in terms of RVing and the RV lifestyle. They call it RV Odd Couple, and their legions of fans are called the Odd Squad. So how do you describe the success that y'all have achieved? Just 9 months.
You know what, Alan, we don't take much credit other than we bought the stuff and we took the step into starting a YouTube channel. And there's something about Mercedes and I that people just like, and we promised each other when we started that we were going to tell the truth, even if it was embarrassing. And so we've pretty much gotten pretty popular on our mistakes. The RV Odd Squad are the people, our subscribers, who have kind of taught us most of what we know. We've come a long way in 8 months since we started, and we give most of the credit to the RV Odd Squad. We've learned more from them than anybody else.
That's awesome. And when you're a newbie, there is so much to learn. And, what are you going to do when you have everything figured out?
I don't know, because no one will want to watch our channel if we're successfully RVing.
Well,
I'm kidding.
John, let me go back. I figured maybe part of the deal was to make the guy that you happened to bump into at the campground. Did you tell him we were going to do a video about this? You planned it? That was all part of the big plan?
No, we didn't. We didn't. Bill was a really nice guy, Alan. He was such a nice guy, and he was embarrassed by his wife's behavior. And I think there's something else there that, you don't know everybody's story, but there was definitely a story there. And she kept going back to telling the police that we left the scene, and then we get straight with them, and then the ambulance showed up, and she said we had knocked her out of her seat on when she was in her RV.
Wow.
And her husband said, no, sir.
So hey, was Sage, was your daughter, was she pretty scared about the police coming and everything?
No, because I mean, Mercedes didn't even know we rubbed up against this guy. She didn't even know. I just stopped and I knew it, so I got out and looked, and the police, we knew there was a problem as soon as we parked our RV and we saw the ambulance pull into the park. Yeah. And we immediately went over there, and her husband was telling the ambulance that everybody's fine. It was just an accident. But she felt the need to run down to the main office and call 911. So, obviously everybody in the park knew who we were.
At that point, you got even more fans. All right, listen, I want to give you an example. This is just me talking. An example of one of your videos. I thought it was outstanding. Can I do that?
Please do.
It was the one that you did on black tanks. Now, I have watched at least a dozen different videos on black tanks, and they're all pretty much the same. But y'all's was different.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we do is when we pick a topic, Alan, I go ahead and I do my research. Both Mercedes and I do a ton of research, and we look for the top 5 videos, and we look at all the information that they brought, and then we try to do better than that. And so I come up with the idea of building a model of a tank. Being in construction my whole life, I knew when we were going to buy this RV that I did my research on the engineering, how it was put together, the framing, the walls, but I never really quite knew what the RV tank, the black tank looked like. And so once I started getting into the research, I liked that kind of stuff. So I wanted to show or illustrate to the RV Odd Squad exactly how they're built, how they work, and the problems that you can run into.
I just thought the way you demonstrated it, using the little Tupperware deal and punching holes in it and straw. I mean, I'm serious. I thought it was excellent. Anybody can understand that, and you can just envision, instead of whatever you put in there, rice or something in the bottom, you can envision whatever's in your black tank. And it was a good visual aid for somebody like me that needs the visual part of it. So I really enjoyed that video. But you do that. You seem to do that with all of your videos. Whether it's about plumbing leaks or campground etiquette, it seems like your approach is different from most people. And I don't know how to really describe it. You said you do a lot of research, and you're saying the same thing, but you say it in a way that to me, it's quite engaging.
Well, Alan, that's such a big compliment, because if you don't have something to say, you shouldn't say it, and so we try to really be clear, like, how can this video be helpful? Because if there's already a video that covers something and you're just going to say the same thing verbatim, don't do that. You really need to come from a place of service and come from a place of what can I bring to the table that hasn't been brought before.
Yes.
It's a lot more than just saying, hey, let's do a video on solar panels. Okay, there's a solar panel, right? I mean, there's got to be a master plan before you even begin whatever you're going to do the video on.
Exactly. And what's interesting about that video is actually we did this video. We worked harder on that video than any other video we've done so far. We put in over 40 hours for that video.
Wow.
And what's funny is that it didn't score very well the day that it took off. For where we're at right now, it was a below-average video, but we think it's our nicest piece of work. So the compliment for you, the compliment that you're giving us is a big one, Alan.
Yeah, because you know this stuff. So if you enjoyed the video, that means it must have been good.
Well, and I have experience in plugging up a black tank, too, so that might have something to do with it.
God.
I think if you RV long enough, everybody's had some issues with something with a black tank. That's how many different radio shows can you actually talk about poop and get away with it? I mean, you can do it all the time here, right?
Exactly.
That's why we love you guys.
All right, listen, when we come back, I'd really like to dig in and find out how y'all have done what you've been able to do in terms of growing a monster business. Can we do that?
Absolutely, Alan. Look forward to it.
All right, well, good deal. Folks, they are not only amazing, they are the RV Odd Couple, and we have them for another segment here on the RV Show USA. We're going to find out how this couple, this unique couple, started out 9 months ago, and they figured out the magic formula for making a really good living by being able to travel on the road full-time and go just about anywhere they want, whenever they want. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. You're listening to the RV Show USA, back right after this. We've got the RV Odd Couple with us, John and Mercedes, who just 9 months ago decided to leave their Well, their ordinary life of living in a sticks and bricks home with pretty typical jobs for the call of the open road. Like so many couples do, they started a YouTube channel. They began doing videos, but here's the deal. The RV Odd Couple approached the entire subject of full-time RVing a whole lot differently than most folks do. And recently, get this, they just banged out a $5,000 month, making $5,000 in a month just by growing their YouTube channel and everything that was affiliated with that. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much, Alan. That's a big achievement. It
is. What's the secret? Come on. What's the secret?
The truth is, we don't know. We don't really know why people are so attracted to what we're doing outside of that. We be as honest as we possibly can. A lot like you do your show, Alan. You know, we tell the truth, and sometimes it's embarrassing, and sometimes, like Mercedes said in the earlier segment, we try to serve as many as we possibly can, and we keep that in the forefront of our minds when we do everything.
So you literally, you say I'm paraphrasing here, you stumbled into success, but you didn't just start this. You even said it, John. You do a lot of background, a lot of research. There's all kinds of people that do YouTube channels about RVing. Very few of them have ever made $5,000 in a month, much less with less than a year under their belt. I mean,
yeah, it's tricky to do, and I'll tell you this, is that we're blessed, number one, that we've been able to do it as fast as we can. And this is what we've done is not typical. It's outside of normal. And Mercedes and I, when we started doing this, we got into a whole bunch of other people that sold all their stuff and hit the road full time and with their family and started a YouTube channel with the idea of they were going to be successful at it. And as we got really successful, we watched some of our friends struggle with having the type of success that we had. And, you know, Mercedes and I had some money when we started. We invested in good teaching. We invested in good coaches and consultants. And we paid a lot of money to learn how to do this. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. So we took the time and we spent the money to learn it. And I think that's the main reason. We had a plan going in. We had some really good teachers and consultants who told us things we didn't want to hear. You know, Mercedes and I were just talking about this earlier today. One of our consultants, we worked on that video, etiquette?
The fight in
campground etiquette. We worked on that thing for 4 days. We were so proud of it. We sent it over to one of our coaches, and he kicked it back and told us it was junk, that we weren't that important, and we needed to help people.
Wow.
You know?
You know what? Hang on. I'm going to jump in here. We and I'm talking not just John and Mercedes and the Wingman here, but all of us, we love it when people, tell us what we do is great and they pat us on the back. But and some of that may be true, but what we really need to improve our lives is somebody that tells us the truth, even if it hurts. Be kind about it. Don't be hateful about it. But when you heard that, it couldn't have made you feel good. But on the other hand, you probably took it as an opportunity to say, well, what can we do to make it better?
That is so true. At the time, we said, oh, my goodness, I can't. Oh, Sage wants to participate. At the time, we said, oh, my goodness, I can't believe we're paying this guy to be this rude to us. But what we later realized was he's right. When we watched the video, we were telling the story about the fight in such a way that didn't jive, and it was more about us. And I think that, we've seen other groups that are designed around a bunch of YouTube creators where they try to help each other, but they don't tell each other the truth. And like you said, do it kind. Brutal honesty can be painful, but be honest. Hey, that part over there was, you kind of lost me there. Or, hey, this was really good, but this part over here is, get rid of it. And so we decided to kind of form a group where we're working shoulder to shoulder, helping each other, giving each other honest feedback of like, hey, let's shorten this, let's do this. And because being a creator is kind of vulnerable when you create something and then people tell you something's wrong with it. But wouldn't you rather know up front that, hey, this needs to change?
And I want to get into what y'all are doing because it's you're trailblazers, if you will, for people that want to follow you and learn kind of the secrets and learn the truth. But to me, as an outsider, I see a whole lot of people that John, you said people that sold everything to become a full-time RVer, thinking they're going to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month making YouTube videos, and it's sad when their dreams come crashing down because they've got unrealistic expectations, and it's hard to tell somebody that. It's when I talk about buying from the wrong RV dealer, people don't want to hear that. They want to believe that everything's going to be perfect.
Right.
So you've got to be at what do they say? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that want to know the truth. Tell us about what y'all have going with the RV, RV Odd Couple and the Odd Squad, and what you've just now launched.
Yeah, so what we did was we started a new group called the Bliss Group, and what that stands for is because life is so short. And what this group is a group of people that coach each other and tell each other the truth. We've come up with a blueprint, a formula that we paid a lot of money for, and we share it in that group. So to try to give people a blueprint on how to create a video that is going to help as many people as possible and be successful. You mentioned that we know 3 people right now who are selling all their equipment and trying to sell their RVs because it didn't work out for them. So Mercedes and I decided we were at a point where maybe we could take the information that we had learned and start sharing it with other people and help them with success. And we've got one student right now that applied our blueprint, and her video scores are up 600% just in 1 week.
And so you've got these different levels of. Is it like a Facebook group, or what kind of group is it?
Different levels. There's different levels with it, but it's just a business group. It's the business side of YouTube, the business side of RV Odd Couple, and all we're doing is sharing how we do our videos with other people. There's 3 levels. There's a $10 level, there's a $39 level, and there's a $49 level. And what you get with that is you get 1 video per month, and we basically take you through the entire process of the blueprint we paid about $10,000 for, and the blueprint that we use on every video that we create.
Okay, so this is not a how to get rich thing. This is a like almost like a mentoring program. It sounds like, where you're trying to groom people to be who they are. When I first started in TV and radio, I didn't know who I was. I know that sounds crazy. I didn't know who I was. Maybe y'all didn't know who you were when you did the first video, Campground Etiquette. And I had a guy tell me way back a long time ago, just be you. Ask stupid questions and don't be afraid to ask them. And that's what I did, and I found out who I was, and I think that it sounds like that's what your program is doing. You're trying to groom people to bring the best out of them, instead of them investing $50,000, $100,000 into this lifestyle that goes bust on them.
That's exactly right. And so the like $10 level is just like live chats where we kind of share, and as it goes up the Bliss level, we have the private Facebook group where we share our videos before we post them. We give honest feedback, and that's the one thing that we say all the time is be you. Don't try to copy anyone else. You'll always be second best if you try to be, if you try to copy. And I think it's that, we watch their videos and we give them paragraphs of feedback in that Facebook group. So this isn't just one of those, yeah, that was great, I gave it a like. This is real constructive feedback so people can get to the core of their message, because it's not about YouTube, it's not about the algorithm, it's about people.
Yeah, and we believe that everybody has their own unique message. We think we found our message, and now we're trying to help others.
Guys, I got to jump in. What is the call to action? Where can people go to find out more? Because we're up against a hard break and going to have to let you scoot. Where do they go for more information?
On YouTube, you'll see a join button right next to the subscribe, and you can pick your tier.
So just go to RV Odd Couple on YouTube, and you can find it right there on your channel.
That's it. Hit the join button.
Good deal. Y'all take care. We're out of time. We'll catch up again soon, okay?